Hey guys, Mark Brown here with 11 Aviation. This looks a little different. This is a TBM 930 behind me that we just represented the buyer for. So we're gonna give you a little walk around, talk to you about our acquisition services. As I've always mentioned, we are the single engine turboprop experts. I've done a lot of Kodiak stuff. I'm the highest time Kodiak pilot in the world, but we have partners that do other single engine turboprops, TBMs, Epics, PC-12s. So cut to Mike. Is this on? So here we are with Mike Sarsfield from Sarsfield Aviation. Mike and I were partners on this deal. We were the buyer's agent, so we had an acquisition to find this client, the best TBM on the market that fit his budget and his needs and was the color that he wanted. So Mike, tell me a little bit more about yourself and your history, and you're the TBM guru. Give me a little more.
Thanks, Mark. Well, yeah, I'm Mike Sarsfield with Sarsfield Aviation. I've been in the TBM business for over 25 years. I was with the manufacturer for about 20 years and went on my own to be able to do acquisition agreements and brokerages on TBMs. And that's 90% of what I do. And Mark called me and said he had a customer and a client that needed a TBM 930. So we narrowed it down and I went out and searched, and this is the airplane we found.
This particular customer originally was looking at Kodiaks, and through the year or so that we were talking with each other, he realized that actually the TBM was perfect for his mission. I am not an expert in every single airplane, but we collectively, Mike, myself, some of our other partners, are single engine turboprop experts. And so the beauty of working with us is that you get not just one person, but you get a team of people that really know that this marketplace, and collectively we've all been in it for 50 plus years. Mike, why don't you tell us a little bit more about sort of how you found this airplane, how your relationships and your history in this market helped this customer find a really great deal.
Yeah, sure. So when I get a call from a client, in this case it was Mark, to help him find a TBM that fits his client's needs, we start with budget. And we start with mission, and then we figure out which model best fits the end user's use. We determined that a 930 was going to be the best airplane for this particular client, and through like I said, over 25 years of just relationships with people, I have a real good Rolodex full of names and numbers of people to call, and of course you can search and just find what's available on market and off market. And we put this together on a spreadsheet. We spent a lot of time reviewing logbooks, analyzing the airplanes. Once we narrow it down to colors, total time on the airplane, things like that the customer's looking for, then we actually go out and physically look at the airplane and inspect it, and then make an offer, put the airplane under contract, and do the delivery.
And what's great about working with us, especially on the buyer's agent side, is we're white glove service. So, in this particular case, this client was very busy. He had a business that he was running day to day, and he knew he wanted a plane, but he didn't really have the time to really, go out and find what was best. And so by hiring Mike and myself, we were able to work on his behalf to find him the best deal on the market. And we sort of do everything. So we go out and find it. We present them, our spreadsheet of airplanes that we think are the best out there, and sort of allow him some optionality to choose what he wants. And in this case, he actually went a little above where he started because we presented this 930. It was really the best value on the market at the time. Again, we work from going through all the off-market options all the way through. We're both here. We're going to deliver the airplane to him, hand him the keys, and it's all going to be taken care of so he doesn't have to mess with it. All right, so we just finished up. We spent the morning going through doing the acceptance on the airplane. So another service that we offer as part of our acquisitions is, going through the airplane. It just came out of a C+ check. And so Mike and I spent the morning going through the airplane, making sure the plane was in great shape, making sure all the logbooks were there, everything was present that's supposed to be here. And now we're gonna load up. And what's next, Mike?
Yep, we're loaded up. We got the bags loaded, and we got fuel. We've got a flight plan down to Orlando. It'll be about a 2.5 hour flight, and we'll finish up the acceptance flight in the air and make sure everything's good to go.
All right, we'll see you guys on the ground, or in the air. We'll see you in the air.
So you remember it's 13 to 15%. Yep. Go to the low position. And this starts in feather with the 900 series. I don't know if you've been in these much. Just like your PT6, you know? Yep. Just watching all that stuff. The beauty of this one is when it finally gets to 50%, the starter will go off, the generator will come on automatically. See, the starter went off, the generator came on.
Ground TBM 904 Echo Alpha, India, IFR and Orlando, ready copy.
November 904 Echo Alpha, Muncie ground. You're cleared to the Oscar Romeo Lima Airport is filed. Maintain at 3000, expect flight level 290, 10 minutes after departure. Departure control frequency, Indianapolis approach on 120.65, squawk 3463, over.
Hey, 904 Echo Alpha is cleared as filed. Climb maintain 3000, expect 290 and 10, 2065, 3463.
TBM 4 Echo Alpha, read back, rectified, ready for taxi.
Roger that. Ground TBM 904 Echo Alpha, Muncie, ready taxi.
TBM 4 Echo Alpha, do you have any of this information, India?
We do have India, Echo Alpha.
Roger, runway 14 taxi via taxiway Alpha cross runway 21.
Alpha cross 21 and 14 will be ready, DN, Echo Alpha.
I think he's going to be really happy with this 930.
Oh gosh, yeah.
This is the way to go for sure.
TBM 4 Echo Alpha, runway 14, proceed on course, maintain 3000, cleared for takeoff.
Cleared on course, cleared to go runway 14, maintain 3000, 904 Echo Alpha. All right, power set, airspeed's live.
TBM 4 Echo Alpha, contact Indianapolis departure.
Good day, sir.
As you guys know, I do a lot of Kodiak stuff. Was the head of sales and chief demo pilot for the manufacturer for 10 years, and I've got 8,000 hours flying Kodiaks. And originally this client was looking at buying a Kodiak from me, and he's a local Texas client. I'm based in the Dallas-Fort Worth area. As a lot happens a lot, people's mission changes over time, and his mission sort of went from a shorter, sort of inner Texas type mission. As his business grew and his family needs grew, they wanted to take a little bit longer trips, and they also needed the pressurization for some personal reasons with their family. He came to me and said, you know, we really love the Kodiak. They really thought it was going to be the right fit, but you know, they needed to change it. And so there's a lot of different airplanes. They all sort of fit different missions, even ones that seem very similar. You know, the Kodiak gets compared a lot to the Caravan. The TBM gets compared a lot to the Piper products, to the Epic products. They're all a lot of really good single-engine turboprops. They all sort of have their niche and the missions that they're good at. And so with Mike's help, we looked at the market, and we spent a lot of different phone calls over the course of a few months with this client and his family. And we honed in the fact that really the TBM for what he needed and the size of his family, the weight carrying capacity, et cetera, and the budget was perfect for his mission. So Mike, you've spent 25 years doing TBM stuff. You know, why is it such a great airplane for this mission?
First of all, 85% of them or so are owner-flown airplanes.
Yeah.
And it's a guy just like him that's going to use it once or twice a week in his business, and then use it on the weekends to go to his beach house wherever he goes. The TBM is almost the most efficient single-engine pressurized turboprop out there that there is. It's built like a tank. It carries a lot and goes a long ways. It easily can go 1,200 miles with about 850 pounds of payload in the airplane. Long range, it can go to 1,700 miles. His case, he doesn't really go those distances. He's more of I think about a 500-mile type guy, but for his business. This particular TBM, the 900 series, the middle seats can be turned around facing forward. He can take the back seats out and have a lot of extra storage room back there for stuff that he might need to carry around. It's fully convertible, and the pilot can do it himself. He doesn't need
Afternoon, Indy South 2843, 340, continuous.
It's convertible. The top will come off.
2843, Indy Center Roger.
So the airplane has real good short field capabilities. You can easily operate this airplane in and out of a 3,000-foot runway and actually go places with it with a lot of payload. Most airports are longer than that, but just in case it's there, there's almost hardly any airport he can't go in and out of. Climb performance on it's fantastic. I don't know if you were paying attention, but we took off 20 minutes ago, and we're about to level off at 290 and at 150 knots indicated in our climb speed. It's one of the few airplanes that you can go, like on this trip that we're doing from, northern Indiana down to South Florida. The TBMs are very good at handling this, where the light jets won't touch it.
And there's no type rating needed, even though insurance requires yearly training. It's less stressful, and it's not required to be legal to fly the airplane. It's just an insurance requirement.
That's right. After 10 to 20 hours in the airplane, typically you feel really pretty good with the airplane. The numbers used to be that about 35% of the TBM buyers were coming out of Cirrus airplanes, and they only had 700 or 800 hours.
Right.
So it's an easy transition. Insurance might drive that they have 50 to 100 hours of mentoring or training practically in
Southwest 2043.
20, 25 hours.
Send to CPLC, remain at frequency.
A guy is
Okay, we'll disregard the
go,
message, Southwest 2043.
and certainly at 50 hours.
Yeah. Part of our services is, being independent of any OEM is really to listen to the customer and figure out what their mission is, and in some cases people don't really have a defined mission yet, and in a lot of cases when you get an airplane, your mission sometimes changes because all of a sudden you have the ability to do things that you otherwise may not have considered doing prior. So it's really our job between the two of us. We've had almost 35 years of experience selling airplanes to high net worth individual owners and operators, and we've seen a lot of people get airplanes for a mission they thought they had, and maybe it changed, or vice versa. And so we can really sort of hone in and listen to these customers on what exactly they want to use the airplane for. And again, as the buyer's agent, it's our job to find them what's going to be best for them, what's going to work best for them, what's going to retain its value, because at the end of the day, everyone ultimately sells an airplane, whether they sell it within a couple years or they sell it in 10 years.
28.
Our goal is to find them the airplane and the serial number that's going to be the best value and retain that value over the long term.
That's right. For example, at cruise, it calculates what our cruise power setting needs to be.
How does it do that?
I'm sorry, Jazz.
It's the same as if you were to take the POH in the airplane and look at our altitude, our outside air temperature. There's a chart in there that would tell you where to set the torque for normal cruise, recommended cruise, or max cruise, or long range cruise.
Okay.
In this case, we're going to go to max cruise, and which is just on the high, right there on the right side of that square box. We'll do our cruise checklist right quick. Pressurization is good. That's another good thing about the TBM. It maintains a 6.0 pressure differential in the cabin.
Yeah.
And all the time, and it's our cruise. So we have an 8,800 foot cabin right now. Is what our body thinks, and we're at 29,000 feet. So it's comfortable. You're not worn out when you get there.
Yeah. I mean, I usually fly at like 1,000 feet, but
yeah, you're kind of like a cub flyer, you know. So the cruise checklist is complete.
Now, what's that? Checklist?
Yeah. I put that in there because maybe that would look good on some footage, You copy that, Zach? Somebody can comment, well, how come nobody ever uses a checklist? So make sure you have just a little blurb of that. I would recommend.
So
Jazz
is this a
560 contacting
checklist, or this is a menu from
135.42.
McAllister's that we're reading here?
That's the next page, dessert.
All right, guys, we're on the approach into our final destination. We just finished up the acceptance flight on the TBM with Mike, and flew great. We're excited. We're going to meet the customer at the airport and do the delivery. So if you guys like this content, we're excited. This is our first TBM that has allowed us to show it on the channel. And we're going to have a lot more TBMs, PC-12, single-engine turboprops, and of course a lot more Kodiak information. Please like and subscribe if you guys want to see more, and we'll catch you on the next one.
Good job.